Within this video, I am going to be talking about a very important subject. And I never thought the day would come in which I dreaded making this video. But I think it's nonetheless warranted based upon the amount of evidence I now see as being valid. And this is Revolutionary Nationalist with yet another video. Like it or not, people, within this video, I am going to literally throw a certain somebody underneath the bus to whom I used to listen to and take his word at value for what it is. But now I have to come to the considerable conclusion that this guy's not what he seems. That he is not what he seems. And I can't believe I defended this guy last year, knowing precisely what it was. I tried to ignore it. I tried to shun it. I tried to literally sweep it underneath the carpet for what it was. But now, this is more or less important, that I talk about a certain unsavory character to which I have grown disgusted with in recent years, that I have lost hope, literally. And that topic will be Alex Jones. Like it or not. The reason why I have to call this guy out for what he is because he is precisely exactly what he seems. Alex Jones is a shill for Zionist. I never thought the day would come in which I would have to come to admit this. But the reason why I have to make this video is because last year I literally tried to defend a guy who literally shills for Israel, people. Tell me how that's supposed to make me feel. I literally defended this piece of meat, this sellout, this guy who is literally bought and sold out to Israel, people, who will not talk about the JQ, who will not talk about the Jewish question or Zionism or denounce it or any subject related to Israel. Go figure, people. How's that not the very interpretation of a Zionist shill? And the reason why he's a Zionist shill is because, let's look at it. He likes to denounce every government out there as being tyrannical, oppressive, and blah, blah, blah. And how he likes to talk about how evil, bad, and wrong and immoral their actions are. But yet, he will not disavow the actions of Israel, people. How the fuck is that possible? He will literally bend over backwards and disavow with open arms the actions of our government, the actions of the Russian government, the actions of the Chinese government, and any other government previously before the UK government, the German government, and every other tyrannical, oppressive, illegitimate government. But he will not disavow the Israel government, people. Tell me how that's not a fucking sellout. That right there, of its own account, is a red flag. How the fuck did we even allow this guy to slip underneath the radar, so to speak, and literally espouse his Zionist Jewish propaganda? He will not disavow the actions of Israel. How is that not the very embodiment of fucking being a shill for Israel, for Zionism? He will not even talk about Zionism. There are videos of him talking about Zionism literally nearly in accordance of 10 years ago. 10 plus years ago, he was talking about Zionism. And now he will not bring it up. Why? Well, the reason why is either one, he's shilling for them, obviously. Two, he's bought and sold out to certain groups of people. I'm probably making an assumption based upon the evidence that I now know. Or he's in cahoots with them. And the reason why I dreaded making this video is because there would come a day in which I would have to disavow him for what he rightfully so is. He is a Zionist shill. He espouses their fucking goddamn sick Jewish ideology, and he sits there, promotes their propaganda. He does not disavow the actions of Israel, but yet he'll disavow all the actions of previous governments. The Chinese government, the Soviet government, the Nazi government in Germany, 1940s. He will disavow all those as well as the new German government, or the Russian government, or the UK government, or the United States government, but yet he will not disavow the Israel government. He will not disavow them, people. How the fuck is that not obvious? And then what's worse is that anyone who gets on his talking show, if you can call it that, and tries to talk about the JQ or the meaning or the purpose of Zionism, he shuts them down right then and there. But yet he talked about it nearly over 10 plus years ago. How is that not fishy? How is that not something to make one speculate? You talk about fucking Zionism with this guy, and he will shut down or shut you down right in front of him, in front of everyone, because he doesn't want to talk about it. How is that not a sellout, people? How is that not a person who's literally betrayed his own audience? This guy is literally bought and sold out, which is really, really telling. Despite the fact that I literally defended this guy when he got deplatformed. And it makes me really fucking angry that I have to make this, but I have no other choice. Because what else am I going to say? Am I going to secretly sit there and try to brush it underneath the carpet as though it's nothing to worry about, as though it never happened, as though it's not factual now, with all the fucking evidence that shows that clearly he's sold out to somebody, and the fact they won't touch Zionism itself? That right there's another red flag. Really, really interesting, buddy. I find it really, really interesting that I have to come to this considerable conclusion because I have nothing else to wonder what made him turn 180, a 180 degree. What made him do that? He's now preaching the very things in which he himself were supposedly against, that he was literally preaching against 10 plus years ago. So why the change, Alex Jones? Why did you go on everything that you were preaching against literally previously nearly 10 plus years ago? Why the change? Why will you not touch the subject of Zionism? You will literally talk about the Illuminati and the Freemasons and all those other secret societies and Skull and Crossbones Society and whatever. But when the topic of Zionism comes up on your radio talk show or literally brings up in personal or public conversations, you shut them down. Why do you not talk about it, buddy? Why is it that you will not disavow the actions of the Israeli government? Why will you not disavow them? But yet you will disavow our government. You'll disavow our government, but you will not disavow them. How is that of its own account not a red flag? Obviously, there's something really, really suspicious there. And on top of that, what's even more suspicious is that you like to run your motor mouth and espouse how Mossad agents came up to you. Like, what the fuck? Are you seriously trying to turn people against you? Because, literally, that was a giant turnoff for me. That literally made me... I just shut down after that. Because I'm wondering, either you are literally trying to instinctually admit that you are bought and paid for and you sold out, or you're just trying to literally appear as crazy as you possibly can because you know you failed your own audience. I don't know, people. There's just too much completely off with this guy. And what's even worse, people, is that this guy, literally in 2015, lost a debate with David Duke, out of all people. David Duke! A fucking ex-KKK leader. How the fuck is that possible? What's wrong with this guy? You know, I used to take his words at value. I literally used to listen to him, people. But all the shit that he has literally said seems to be contradicting what he originally preached against literally 4 plus years ago. Literally. In 2015, people, I used to listen to this guy. And the reason why I don't is because there's just too much wrong with him. There's just too much that is frankly wrong with him. But what is even more suspicious is the whole Zionism question itself with this guy. I mean, I'm no big fan of Zionism. I can't even stand that there's even a conspiracy out there against that of my overall people, of all things. And to tell you the truth, I'm still skeptical about literally over half of the Zionism conspiracy, if you want to call it that, but rather it exists, a group exists. It's not deniable anymore. There's eloquent evidence to show that actual Zionists for Jews actually exist. But goddamn, how the fuck did this guy deceive his audience for this long? How the heck did we not know what precisely exactly this guy was from the very beginning? That's the very question which I'm raising within this video. It's really, really amazing how he could have fooled his own audience for this long, and how his own following has become literally the very embodiment of a cult. Makes me wonder, people. He loses the debate with David Duke, out of all fucking people, in 2015. He will not disavow the actions of Israel, of the Israeli government. And anytime anyone brings up Zionism around him or the JQ question, in general, he shuts them down, either on his radio talk show or in public, or in personal conversations. How is that of its own account not suspicious? And there used to come a time in which I used to listen to this guy. I literally listened to what he had to say. And I defended this guy last year when he got deplatformed, censored, and suppressed. But now it has come to this, out of all things, to which now I have to admit that this guy is hook, line, and sinker sold out. And for this, I will no longer defend him. What he has done, people, what he is doing currently contradicts everything that he preached against over 10 plus years ago. Literally since the early 2000s. This guy is literally sold out. Hook, line, and sinker. And anyone who is still listening to this guy, there has to be something wrong with him. I've also noticed something's wrong with his audience as well. His audience acts like a bunch of paranoid, schizophrenic lunatics. There's something wrong with his following, and there's something wrong with this guy. But anymore than that, I'm not going to listen to him anymore. I'm not going to defend him. I'm not even going to stand up for him anymore. I'm done with him. And from here on out, Alex Jones is just another sellout establishment whore.